Now, the French economy won't recover from the coronavirus pandemic until 2022. That's according to a new forecast from the French central bank. It expects the economy to shrink by more than 10% this year, while almost 1 million jobs will be lost. For more, we can go across to France 24's business editor, Stephen Carroll. Stephen, is this picture better or worse than what we had been expecting?
It's not far off the previous forecasts we've had from various different bodies on the impact the coronavirus pandemic is having on the French economy. The French Finance Ministry, for example, saying it expects the economy to shrink by 11%. The Banque de France saying that it's going to be around 10% this year. But what the central bank is giving us is an idea of when the recovery will start. It expects a rebound of almost 7% in growth next year and around 4% in 2022. And it says it will be mid-2022 before the economy has recovered from this shock. On the jobs front, the Banque de France expects the unemployment rate to rise to a historic high of 11.8% in the middle of next year, and that won't come down below 10% until 2022. Remember, before this crisis hit, unemployment in France had been dropping and had hit around 8% at the start of this year, which was a particularly good place for French unemployment to be. So they're expecting around 1 million jobs to be lost in the economy this year. As regards how the economy is performing right now, the French central bank saying that economic activity in June is expected to be around 12% lower than a regular week in June. That is an improvement on what we've seen in previous months, but they do think it's going to be that 2 years before there's any significant amount of recovery from what has been a massive shock to the economy.
Indeed. Stephen, now the government here has unveiled its €15 billion rescue plan for the aerospace industry. What more details do you have?
So that money is broken down into several parts. The biggest section of it is going to Air France KLM. That's a plan already that's been announced. It's €7 billion in state-backed loans for the airline to keep it flying in a period when air travel has almost entirely ground to a halt. But the big sector this plan is targeted at is the aerospace. The plane building and maintenance sector in France is a huge employer, around 300,000 jobs directly and indirectly employed in that industry. And Bruno Maire saying that without this help, 100,000 jobs could have been at risk. They're extending the temporary unemployment scheme in France for this sector, which will allow companies, for example, to bring back employees on a part-time basis, those who've been furloughed during this crisis when production has ground to a halt. There's going to be a new fund to help small and medium enterprises in this sector, because this is an industry dominated in France by 4 big names: Airbus, Safran, Dassault and Thales. But there are many more, tens of thousands in fact, more smaller companies that operate in this industry, mainly in the southwest of the country, close to the city of Toulouse. So the aim is to try and help those smaller businesses to survive this crisis as well. There's going to be €1.5 billion of government money invested in what Bruno Le Maire says is a plan for a carbon neutral aircraft. He set a deadline for that of 2035, so an investment in research and development. The French army is going to accelerate orders for planes as well, all in a bid to try and give this industry immediate work. Airbus, for example, had no new orders for planes in May, so they want to try and fill the gap where airlines haven't been able to afford to buy new planes, or certainly aren't buying them for the moment because of the plunge in travel due to the coronavirus pandemic. The government's hoping this €15 billion will be able to bridge the gap until demand returns in that industry.
Stephen, thank you very much for that. Stephen Carroll there.